As we continue on with improving our physical fitness, we look at committing to physical activity and how we can kind of improve that process so that we're not taking bad habits with us indefinitely into various stages of our lives. And when we come to committing to physical fitness, we look at incorporating physical activity in our lives purposefully, mindfully, and having a strategic way of going about that. And one of the ways we can do that is choosing things that we just enjoy doing. Nobody wants to do an insanity type of workout every day unless you are one of those people who just enjoys anaerobic workouts and having a capacity of pain higher than the average person. Nobody really wants to work out on those types of levels on a daily basis. It's not fun. The more we enjoy something, the more likely we are to engage in it for an extended period of time. And so choose something that you enjoy doing. Choose something that's fun, that it can be leisurely and healthy for you at the same time. But at the end of the day, remember, the activities that are not quite as enjoyable are probably going to be the ones that burn more calories and that give you a larger ability to strengthen your muscles and strengthen your bones. So it doesn't mean it has to be completely miserable. Nobody will keep up with those types of activities. But challenging yourself and pushing yourself a little bit. Starting slow. So not trying to go out and lose weight today because you're going to be discouraged when the next day the scale says the exact same thing. So choose things that are enjoyable, but also start at a slower pace, making sure that you can up the progress incrementally, and that way you'll have a sense of satisfaction as well. And also look for ways to just improve your activity levels. For example, if you normally take the elevator, maybe take the escalator and walk up a couple of those steps, and then maybe in a month you can just transition only to take the stairs. And then maybe in a few months you can transition to maybe walking with hand weights, or walking with ankle weights, or walking with a weighted vest or weighted pants. There are a lot of different things we can do. If you're jogging or if you're walking, maybe you can jog for 1 minute and then walk for 85% of the workout, and then at the end jog for just 1 minute. And then you can build up to jogging for 2 minutes or 3 minutes at a time. So these are just ways that you can improve your physical fitness, but also be able to keep the commitment, because as you get better, you're going to enjoy working out anyway more. Nobody enjoys it when they suck. So look at some of these obstacles when we are talking about overcoming things that are sitting in our way for physical activity. People always say they don't have time. That's true. But we can squeeze in activities in small periods of time. For example, when you wake up in the morning, do 100 jumping jacks. And if you've ever taken one of my body conditioning or weight training classes, you'll know that when I say 100 jumping jacks, I really mean 200 jumping jacks. The jumping jacks that I'm talking about are lightning jacks. They're done on your toes, and you do them as quickly as possible. So instead of doing 1, 2, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's 1, 2. Those are the type of jumping jacks that we normally do. So if you do 100, that's really 200, and that takes about 1.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes to do that. But if you do that at the beginning of the day, and then at lunchtime, and then at dinner time, you would have done 600 jumping jacks, and it would take you a grand total of about 10 minutes. So there are ways that we can filter in activity. So do maybe 10 push-ups in the morning time, or 15, follow them by your 100 jumping jacks, and then repeat it at lunch, repeat it at dinner. And at the end of the day, you would have done 30 push-ups, 30 to 50 push-ups, and 200 to 600 jumping jacks. So there are ways that we can filter it in. You can add in, do 50 squats. So do 15 push-ups in the morning, 25 to 50 squats, and then 100 jumping jacks. And you can repeat that 3 times a day, and that's 15 minutes worth of a workout. So we can squeeze things in if you really want to. But also having somebody to work out with is great. A walking partner is always wonderful because we push each other without it being super competitive. We want it to still be enjoyable. But lack of motivation, let me tell you, if you are trying to leave your house to work out, most people won't. The trick is to reverse what we have with working out and eating where we buy a gym membership, but then if it's cold outside, we're tired, or we don't have gas, we're fatigued, etc., we have to leave our house to work out. But all of the junk food is in our house. We just go open the refrigerator door. If we reverse that trend where we have to go out of the house to get the junk food, and then we exercise inside our homes, you will see a drastic difference in your ability to get something done without having a barrier of gas or time. And now gyms are closed. A lot of them are closed. You can't even go to the gym, so you just waste your membership. So we have to have ways of mitigating those types of obstacles, and one of the ways we can do that is finding small spaces to work out in our home with resistance types of exercise. You don't need a lot of types of bars and resistance bands. I don't really use weights at all. I just bust push-ups and body weights and squats and plyometrics. I really don't use very much equipment at all. Now, looking at our fitness regimen, we see that there are some goals that we have in a regimen or in a program. They're called SMART goals, and you should remember these. They stand for specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-oriented, and we're going to go over all of those in detail, I believe. Okay, we're not, but let me do those again. So specific is, it can't be vague. You can't say, I want to lose weight. How many pounds you want to lose? It's kind of important that we know exactly how many. They have to be measurable. I want to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time by this deadline, or I want to, how do we measure it? Like lose weight. How much weight? Pounds, kilograms, you want to lose weight, you want to put on muscle. What do you want to do? Because some people's objective is to lose weight, and that means fat. And some people's objective is to change their body composition, which may not necessarily mean losing weight. They may lose, 20 pounds of fat, put on 20 pounds of muscle, so you are the exact same weight, but you look totally different. So they have to be measurable, fat, weight, both. They have to be action-oriented, so you got to get off your butt, and you have to move, you have to have a plan. Realistic. You cannot lose 5 pounds in a week. I don't care what anybody says. Even if you starved yourself for a week, the average person's body consumes around about 1,500 to 1,800 calories a day. That's for men on the upper scale of 1,800. And even if you multiply that, and I'm going to do the math for you just because I know folks don't be believing me, because Nutrisystem and your friend lost 5 pounds in a week. They did not. They lost 5 pounds of water. So let's just take 1,800 calories a day times 7. That is about 12,600 calories for the week. If you divide that by the number of calories in a pound, which is 3,500, that's 3.6 pounds. So even if you starved yourself for an entire week, you would not lose 5 pounds. And I'll even do it at the 2,000 calorie a day mark. So 2,000 calories a day times 7 is 14,000 calories a week divided by 3,500, which is the number of calories in 1 pound. And that is still only 4 pounds. So if you ate or did not eat 2,000 calories a day for an entire week, you still would not lose 5 pounds a week. So it has to be a realistic goal, and a realistic goal is 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss a week. And that is combined diet and exercise. And then it has to be time oriented, which means don't just say I will lose weight. How long is it going to take you? And that time frame has to be realistic as well. Principles of fitness training. So now we have our FIT principle, which is frequency, meaning that you need to do more than 1 time a week. 2 times a week is not enough either. 3 times a week is a minimum, but I highly recommend 3 to 5 days a week. Usually if you have a range of activities, if you choose the lower end of the range, you're going to get the lower range of results. A good rule of thumb is to split the range. So if it's 3 to 5, then just do 4. The more that you do, the more results you're going to see. So the frequency is important, and so is the intensity. So I once dated someone who I'm no longer dating because he was an idiot, but he insisted that jogging useless numbers of laps around the track was going to help him lose weight, and he did not lose no weight. And the reason he didn't lose any weight is just because the intensity of running is not going to burn that many calories. And even though running pulls from fat because of cardiovascular activity, it doesn't pull that many calories from fat. Anaerobic activities or high intensity activities are going to burn more calories per square minute of activity. So if you are trying to lose weight in a faster time frame, And the intensity of your workout is very important. You have to ramp up the intensity. You can burn more calories sprinting and running fast in a shorter amount of time than you can running long distance at a slower rate. So my workouts are rarely over about 30-40 minutes because I don't want to be out there that long, and I want to get the maximum amount of results in the least amount of time. According to the time principle of training, this is how many minutes or repetitions you're going to do. If you are working out on a time frame, also know that the intensity is more important, but if you're doing repetitions such as a gym, then we just kind of parallel that comparison where the heavier your weight is, the less repetitions you need. You're not going to be able to lift, closer to your 1 RM as many times as you can with an endurance set anyway. But you are going to burn more calories lifting heavier weights. Just like you're going to burn more calories running faster than you are jogging, even if the time is longer. And then the type of activity. Yes, there is some truth to the theory of muscle confusion, because you do want to engage in different activities, because as we engage in the same activity over and over again, our bodies become used to it and it doesn't require as much effort in order to do the same activity. So we can either combat that with a different activity that works the same body part or same muscle, or we can increase the value or intensity of that by adding weights, adding a plyometric, speeding up, doing more repetitions, things like that. This is just the FIT principle that we talked about in chart form. Go ahead and just take a quick snapshot. I have included this in your Canvas portal as well. But for cardiorespiratory endurance, 3 to 5 days a week. Muscular fitness, 2 to 3 days, and flexibility, 2 to 3 days. You can combine aspects of physical fitness, by the way, into one workout. You don't have to do these separately. So I did want to be very clear about that, because this can be misleading. If you take even the bottom scale, which is 3 days, and take the bottom scale for each of these, you're still looking at working out 7 days a week, and I don't even do that. So you can combine aspects. So the FIT principles, we look at static stretching, and those are the ones that you hold out, the ones that you learned in PE to hold for 30 seconds. And you do want to do those types of stretching, but it should be done at the end of a workout. Your active stretching, which is your movement-based stretching, arm circles, things like that, those are the things that you should do before the workout, because you want your body to be warm, not necessarily super stretched out, especially if you're going to be doing some sort of strength-based activity. You lose slight pressure or slight strength when you are elongating the muscles just prior to doing some sort of weight regimen, but it's temporary. However, you want to have the muscle and the area be warm, but not necessarily super stretched out. So you should incorporate flexibility exercises in the static form at the end of the workout, and that also helps to prevent muscle soreness, and that should be done a couple of days a week. Implementing your program, so remember, make it progressive, start slow, and add intensity as you increase your own fitness level. Always have a warm-up. I hate it warming up as well, but the warm-up does help to prevent injury, and it also will help you to really just flow and merge into the activity easier, and you won't be as exhausted because your body has now become acclimated to starting a regimen. So you want to do that. Combine aspects of physical fitness into your training regimen, and also make sure that you are stretching, because the stretching is definitely going to help you with preventing delayed onset muscle soreness, and sometimes you don't feel that until the next day. So some of the things you can also do are core strength training aspects, which involve the trunk area, the torso, the back, the abdominal cavity, things of that nature. Also the pelvic area, because that supports a large amount of our weight. And then yoga, because we can blend that flexibility. There are plenty of yoga programs that also involve core strength. We work on posture. You can work on flexibility, balance, coordination, but also it's a mind-body exercise to help with the emotional and the psychological aspect of health, which is really vital. So the last thing I want to talk about, because I have not that much time, is preventing injuries. You guys, please wear the right footwear. Please wear the right protective equipment. Don't overdo it. Get your butts inside when it's too hot. Don't try to show off. Heat stroke is a real thing, and stay hydrated. So ideal temperatures are going to be great, but you want to look out for your health in the long run. So I hope this has been helpful.